Hello once again. I'm not really sure where this video will go, but I'm well aware of what I can and what I can't say. So I may use euphemisms, or I may not. Speech is still free in my humble opinion. I'm thinking about leaders who lead us or steer us or manipulate us. Now, the people, this is just my opinion. The people who lead us are most certainly not the sort of people we would meet on the streets or even in a bar. If you did, you would be immediately drawn to their overbearing personality, or possibly have the feeling that they were trying to sell you a bridge somewhere. These people live on a different plane to ordinary people. Their world is one of political dogma, where they will not accept any other view other than their narrow-mindedness. I firmly believe that many politicians and political leaders are sociopaths and tend to find others of their own nature, as people do in a mental institution. They always find their own little niche, who they belong with, in which groups. Now, just as an example, the German government has just started to import liquid natural gas from China. Really? Germany, by the way, is under the control of the EU, and the EU is controlled from America, and consequently they must agree with the sanctions put on Russian gas. So they import LNG, liquid natural gas, from China at a much higher cost. Where do they think the gas being converted to LNG comes from? I'm pretty certain that even a child can work that one out. It's exactly the same as Russian oil that is being transferred from Russian tankers to Greek tankers on the high sea, where they cannot be seen. And then it is directly imported to all Western nations. Do they really think that we are fools? Are we? Well, this one is not a fool. That's for sure. I'm not particularly intelligent, but I do pay attention to what is occurring. I never went to universities, but I always looked up to those who did. Not anymore, I don't. Not since Blair the liar brought in education, education, education. And what he actually did was to bring in indoctrination, indoctrination, indoctrination. In this modern world, university education has been degraded by implanting ideas into young minds rather than open discussion of different opinions. It doesn't happen anymore. You're indoctrinated, you're brainwashed. And before Blair, in the Thatcher years, we had a thing called the Bologna process of university education. But it was destroyed by the Blair cabal. And our mainstream media is a direct result of such brainwashing. Uni students nowadays avoid difficult subjects like science, medicine, chemistry, and tend to go for the easy ones like art and media studies. And all they do, they become cut and paste journalists, which is not journalism at all. If you have a PC or a phone or a mouse or whatever, you can search for news and opinions from across the world that do not have bias or vested interest, but they are seen by the West as either extreme left or extreme right. In fact, they're neither. They are just impartial. But the bulldozing regimes forbid impartiality because they see it as a threat, which of course is exactly that. And great change is coming. I'm pretty certain of that. In the immortal words of Bob Dylan in his song, the times they are a-changing, and they sure are going to. And also people like Simon Garfunkel, who wrote, the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls. And of course, ordinary folk like you and me just spread ordinary common sense. So please, just spread the word and hit the like button, or even subscribe. I don't bite, but my criticisms may bite. Going back to leaders, I'm very sure we are all aware of good leaders and bad leaders, especially in our workplaces. That they alone can make or break a company or a work situation. They can make you feel good by leading by example, or make you feel bad by their incompetence. Excuse me. Strong leadership and experience is imperative in any situation. Frighteningly, we have older, experienced people taken out of the workplace, which is not the best of ideas, since experience only comes with maturity. Young people, of course, may very well have innovative ideas and lots of energies, but sometimes they get in situations they can't deal with and have no one to turn to. In my humble opinion, anyone who goes into politics should have at least 10 or even 20 years of proven leadership in private industry. And world leaders are the same. I can count on one hand, not that one, this one. I can count on one hand how many statesmen, proper statesmen, there have been without naming them, but by just mentioning the country will give you a good clue to who I'm referring to. America in the beginning, Britain many years ago, India also many years ago, and Finland also many years ago. People who have made their mark and are never ever forgotten by their fellow countrymen. I may not agree with you, but I will die to defend your right to say it. I can't remember who said that, but it's pretty damn good in my book. Many leaders in the West are just puppets of the hegemony of America. And the whole system has become like an asylum where all the psychopaths and sociopaths gather in their little select groups. Please don't get me wrong. I have no problem with American people or any other nation. I just have a problem with their regimes. By the way, the word hegemony comes from the Greek hegemonia, which literally means dominance over. And that's exactly describes America, or their regime at least. And the American hegemony has been responsible for many ills over the years. They have declared themselves as the world's police. NATO was formed and was supposed to be a peaceful organisation, but it has proved to be anything but. Just take a few seconds to look at history. And I quote, "The North Atlantic Alliance was founded in the aftermath of World War II. Its purpose was to secure peace in Europe, to promote cooperation among its members and to guard their freedom. All of this in the context of countering the threat posed by the then Soviet Union." Please take note now that the Soviet Union fell and is no more. That the NATO alliance founding treaty was signed in Washington in 1949 by a dozen European and North American countries. It commits the Allies to democracy, individual liberty and the rule of law, as well as to peaceful resolutions of disputes. Makes you smile, doesn't it? Peaceful resolutions? Really? Let's not forget the peaceful resolution paid to Serbia in 1999, or the peaceful resolution applied to Iraq and Syria. Oh, what short memories we have. My friends, please believe me when I say the writing is on the wall, and it has been for some time now. I suggest you hold on to your hats if you wear one, because it's going to be a bumpy ride, that's for sure. Someone in my family recently said, "What makes you so special?" What makes me so special is the fact that I'm not special. I'm just an ordinary Joe Soap who actually pays attention to what is going on in the world. But I do not read mainstream media or watch mainstream TV. Wow, I'm not sure what that was. Bear with me, that frightened me, startled me. I subscribe to one newspaper, and I'll leave a link for you in descriptions under more. I believe there are many more people like me, but maybe hesitant to make yourself known and stand up for what you believe. Collectively, we can make a difference to this oh so corrupt world we live in. I've been asked this, and you may ask, would I hold a different opinion if I was offered money and a better life? No, I wouldn't. Simply because my life isn't dictated to by money. Never has been. The biggest problem we all face are the people who want our vote. Who do we choose when the majority of candidates are sociopaths? And all governments suffer a recurring problem. Power attracts pathological personalities. It is not that power corrupts, but it is a massive magnet to the corruptible. I read quite a great deal, even more so now. And I find I need to study history, which is there to teach us where we've gone wrong in the past. And history doesn't need to repeat itself, but sadly, us humans have a propensity to do just that. When will we ever learn? I just hope we do. I truly hope we do. I'm fascinated by books, and I constantly buy them. And the latest one on my list is one that is called 180 Degrees, Unlearn the Lies You've Been Taught to Believe, by a guy called Fergus O'Connor Greenwood. An absolute must for those who are awake, being awakened, or wondering what the hell is going on in this extremely uncomfortable world we live in. And talking of books, two books that I certainly recommend would be 1984, written in 1948 by George Orwell, and another is A Brave New World, written by Aldous Huxley in 1932. Both of those books are essential reading to understand what is going on in this world right now. They both were visions. I can only say they were visions of what was going to happen. And in my humble opinion, Huxley's book is better with his Ministry of Truth. And that is exactly where we are now. Desperately need to break free of it. The brief synopsis of A Brave New World is this. The novel examines a futuristic society called the World State that revolves around science and efficiency. In this society, emotions and individuality are conditioned out of children at a very young age, and there are no lasting relationships because everyone belongs to everyone else. Ring any alarm bells? It should, because it perfectly describes now, what we're going through right now. Please, I beg you to wake up and smell the coffee before it's too late. Just remember this as being a human being. Everyone is guilty of all the good things they never did, but they wanted to. It's all part of being a human being because we are just that. We are fallible and imperfect, but we still have a choice. Please don't ever let go of that choice. And I must say one more thing before I go. I was very, very privileged to have roamed the forests of Finland. And it was down to just one person who I'll be eternally grateful to. And I may recount my experiences with photos and stories of a wonderful country, and many experiences afforded me by very capable and patriotic people who I love dearly, and one day I will return. And my experiences went much further than a casual visit, and hopefully I'll share some of them on this platform. That's me, I'm done. Thank you for listening to an old man on his phone. Bye-bye.